And part of this is also going to include some breaking news about Jonathan Majors as Kang the Conqueror in the MCU, and some news about his trial case that I have been covering. So if you are new here, I'm not going to go through everything with his case, but you can definitely go check out many of my videos breaking down all the details of what's been going on with the trial. And just to kind of give you a quick synopsis, basically, Jonathan Majors has been accused of domestic violence. He's, accused of allegedly, being physical, with his ex-girlfriend. And the New York DA, the Manhattan DA has like taken on the case on her behalf, and they're pressing charges against him for I want to say it's like second or third degree harassment and assault or something like that. So they are misdemeanors, but at the same time, he could face a year in jail. Like it is kind of serious at the same time. But our primary concern, besides obviously justice being served, is how does this affect Kang the Conqueror? Because the moment he was introduced as he who remains in Loki, people really started to notice, like, yo, Jonathan Majors is really good. Like, this guy, he's a great actor, and this is one of the reasons I was super excited for him joining into the MCU, because I know he has a lot of range as an actor, and he showed that to us so far. We've seen him as He Who Remains. We've seen him as like Kang the Conqueror. We've seen him as like 5, 6 different other Kangs in the Council of Kang. We've seen him as Victor Timely, and each one looks and feels very different. That is good acting. But with all this negative attention and all this press that's happening behind the trial and all of that, it's been prompting a lot of questions of like, what do we do with Jonathan Majors? Like, of course, there's always the presumption that you're innocent, until proven guilty. So we got that. However, image matters, and when you have, a case that is carrying a huge allegation, it can damage your public image. And Jonathan Majors is probably one person that has more recently had a huge dip in his public image in such a quick fashion, given the fact that he was on such a high rise coming right off of Creed 3. The guy lost his management, he lost commercials, he lost movies. The only people really stuck with him are Marvel right now and Disney. But we even saw that his latest movie, Magazine Dreams, Disney has pulled that to the side. So the question is kind of like, what do you do? Do you recast the character? Do you keep him going? And because his trial has not been dismissed, I just made that video about how he wants to get this trial dismissed. His lawyer's been leaking evidence all over the place so people can see no harm was done to the alleged victim. But the prosecution and the judge believe that there's enough evidence to take Jonathan Majors to trial. I have some of that we're going to talk about at the end, but we are going to talk about first the impact of Kang the Conqueror in the MCU right now. And Marvel, of course, this is something that they have to talk about. They have to, right? So we talked about earlier about how Marvel's at their retreat, their annual retreat, where they figure out just the idea and the game planning for everything. But it says here on this article that the most pressing issue to be discussed at the retreat was what to do about Jonathan Majors. It says here the actor the damage to his reputation and the chance he could lose the case has forced Marvel to reconsider its plans to center the next phase of its interlocking slate of sequels, spin-offs, and series around Major's villainous character, Kang the Conqueror. It says at the gathering in Palm Springs, executives discussed backup plans, including pivoting to another comic book adversary like Doctor Doom. Now, wait a minute. You mean to tell me Marvel said, if things don't go well with Jonathan Majors, we just gonna move over to Doctor Doom? I'm not gonna be mad about that. Doctor Doom is a villain for villains. Like, that is a character that if Marvel can get that right, y'all gonna be saying Thanos who. So I think it'll be interesting. In my opinion, because we don't know what's going on with Majors, we don't know where the case is gonna go. I would try to hold off Doctor Doom for as long as possible, because the longer you wait, the more money you can make in between. But I don't know. What is it? His case is supposed to be the end of November or something like that. If he's guilty immediately or something like that, or if more bad news comes out, Marvel could make the pivot. They really could. Because especially if you are familiar with the story, especially with Secret Wars, um, Doctor Doom ain't no joke. Doctor Doom is usually the guy behind the guy behind the guy. Like he's the mastermind guy. This dude gave Wakanda problems. Wakanda. I ain't talking about Wakanda forever. Wakanda. That Wakanda got all dumbified and cheapened. And I'm talking about Wakanda in the comics. This man gave Wakanda fits. This man put T'Challa in a coma. T'Challa now. Doctor Doom ain't nobody to play with. And I'm not even talking about the things that he's actually accomplished. Again, I'm not trying to spoil Secret Wars for nobody, but he's a major player in Secret Wars. And y'all gonna be sitting there like, remember the time we thought Kang was a problem? Kang ain't nothing but a man. He ain't nothing but a regular old man that got a time complex. Doctor Doom? Oh, he a villain. Ain't nobody playing with ain't nobody playing with Doctor Doom. When he's involved, ish gets real. So if things don't work out for Jonathan Majors, first of all, they do have what is it, Avengers Kang Dynasty, which is supposed to come out like in 2-3 years from now or something like that. You could just recast. And I've heard different names thrown out there, and I've told y'all the name I think that can work the best. I think it's got to be John Boyega, because John Boyega literally fits the mold of what Kang the Conqueror is supposed to be from an actor's perspective. You need someone who has range. And when I say range, I say this all the time. I don't mean you could change your voice a little bit. I mean, you can literally transform and look like different people and act like different people on screen and make us believe it. So, you know, what was that movie? They Cloned Tyrone. Go watch They Clone Tyrone. That's literally John Boyega's audition to be Kang. That's it. Because right there, he literally showed you that he can play more than just one or two roles. He could play like 5, 15 different characters. If whatever actors y'all talking about can't show you 10 different, completely separate characters, don't even bother, because that's not Kang. What do we just see? He Who Remains, Kang the Conqueror, 3 different evil, different versions of Kang. Then we saw Victor Timely. That's range. None of them are that similar, and they're very distinct. If you can't get that, it's not even worth the discussion. So we have some commentary here. Pardon the language, but I think we're getting late now. It says Marvel is truly screwed with the whole Kang angle. This is coming from one top deal maker who has actually seen the final Loki episode. And they haven't had an opportunity to rewrite until very recently because of the strike. But I don't see a path on how they move forward with Kang. Wow. Um, that's messed up, because we haven't even seen the last episode of Loki yet. And given where Loki left off after episode 4, it is very possible that Marvel, we could maybe see how Marvel might change things in the future. So in other words, if Marvel were thinking about recasting, if episode 5 and maybe 6, the last 2 episodes, maybe that would have been the best time to do it. But it's sounding like it's already too late, which means Marvel's gonna have to figure something else out. I would say that I wouldn't be surprised if maybe you saw a Loki special. Like if I were Marvel and I was just like, yo, you know what? Tom Hiddleston, I know this is out the blue, but maybe we got to do a Loki special. After everything is done, right before Kang Dynasty, we do one Loki special, and that's where they recast. Maybe. So we'll just have to wait and see, because again, His trial has not started yet, but that does not mean that that's all you need. Sometimes more publicity, more bad stuff that gets revealed can be enough for a studio to be like, all right, we're done. We'll talk about that because some things have come up. But we will see. We will see. Marvel already considered moving away from a majors led phase because of the box office performance of Quantumania. Recasting majors is also an option, as Feige did when he replaced Terrence Howard in Iron Man 2 with Don Cheadle. Also, now y'all can do the Aunt Viv thing, huh? Uh-huh. 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 But first of all, don't be blaming Jonathan Majors for Quantumania. He was not the problem. And if Marvel thinks he was the problem, Marvel's definitely got a understanding issue at that point. He didn't do it. He was the best part of Quantumania. He literally made that movie salvageable and watchable. So the fact that they even considered parting ways because Quantumania didn't do well, why are you not looking at Scott? Go look at Scott Lang. That was his movie. Y'all the ones that decided to take the Wasp, who got her whole name in the title, and not even give her no parts. You gave her 4 lines in the whole movie. And you want to blame the best thing about the movie with Jonathan Majors as Kang? Man, y'all better get out of here with that nonsense. Get out of here. It also says here Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 became Marvel's biggest draw of the year with $845 million worldwide. Then, of course, Quantumania came in with $476 million. And anything under $500 million is viewed as a disappointment. I'm going to say that again. For Marvel, anything under $500 million is viewed by Marvel as a disappointment. And these overreaching expectations are a result of so much success over the years. Again, I still don't blame Jonathan Majors for anything with Quantumania, but the movie did flop for Marvel. It was not successful for Marvel. As was mentioned earlier, Marvel's failures are other studios' success. Other studios would love to have a movie make 400 something million dollars and they'll be like, we did it, y'all. But for Marvel, they're like, nah, 400, like, that's not good enough for us. We make $2 billion movies. Our movies make like 800 million, 900 million, like we close to the Billy Club, under half. So again, this is one of the reasons why I be trying to tell y'all, just because a movie makes a lot of money to you, that does not mean that the studio views that rate of return the same way. They looked at Age of Ultron as a disappointment that they made like $1.5 billion. But to them, it was like, yeah, this was disappointing. So yeah, it's all relative in other words. But all right, guys, that's the update that we have with Jonathan Majors and Kang the Conqueror with Marvel. It looks like they were thinking about getting Doctor Doom, back in their, back pocket. They can always recast them. I'm still shooting for John Boyega. But y'all let me know, what do you think about all this? What do you make about this? Does this change your opinion about Jonathan Majors? Does it maybe strengthen your opinion about him? Do you think that this is going to harm his chances of staying Kang the Conqueror? Do you think Marvel should recast? Do you think Marvel should stay with him? Whatever you think, please let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.
Thank you so much for watching. This was just a segment of one of my live chats, and if you're interested in joining in on the next one, be sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications for more. I've got more videos and reviews to do for you all, and until next time, I'll see you all later.